Part two to the report on the Senate Select Committee on Intelligence and U.S. House Senate Select Committee on Intelligence, uh, part four of the report, which is the infamous 28 pages. This is part two to this series, in which I'll be reading from the chapter on possible Saudi government connection to terrorists and terrorist groups. While in the United States, some of the September 11 hijackers were in contact with and retrieved support or assistance from individuals who may be connected to the Saudi government. That is information from FBI sources that at least two individuals were alleged to be Saudi intelligence officers. The Joint Inquiries Review confirmed that the intelligence community also has information that is much of which remains a speculative and is yet to be independently verified, indicating that Saudi government officials in the United States may have ties to Al Qaeda and other terrorist groups. Now, remember, this was 2004 report, right? 20 years later, we now have the Canestraro document. Donald Canestraro worked at the Office of Military Commissions and interviewed members of the Joint House 9/11 Commission, CIA, and the FBI that worked the Bin Laden Al Qaeda case. Now, we know definitively that one individual named in the FBI's follow-up to the original 9/11 investigation, the FBI Pent Bomb case, the follow-up is Operation Encore, like I spoke about in the previous video, where the name slipped from being redacted. Muassad al-Jar, who headed the Islamic Affairs Ministry in Washington, D.C., who was in charge of putting or employing imams in mosques around the United States, in which he authorized Fahad al-Damari to lead the King Fahd Mosque in Culver City, Los Angeles. Fahad al-Damari is a Wahhabi scholar, and that's what they preached, to radicalize the youth, as well as another imam that was hired there as well. Fahad al-Damari was the first person to receive the two first 9/11 hijackers inside the United States, Khalid al-Mihdhar and Nawaf al-Hazmi, and let them stay at rented rooms for the first 3 weeks before they met Omar al-Bayoumi at the Mediterranean Cafe, Venice Beach, and they moved to San Diego. Now, it was later 9/11 Commission went to interview any FBI, Fahad al-Damari in Saudi Arabia. They found it to be deceptive. That's what the 9/11 Commission stated. So, Omar al-Bayoumi worked for the Saudi Arabian Air Presidency, which is a government arm of Saudi Arabia. It's no longer a case of speculation. Thing is, did the Saudi government knowingly pay finances and give logistical support to two known Al Qaeda members, Khalid al-Mihdhar and Nawaf al-Hazmi, through these intermediaries, knowing that the plane's operation was going to happen on September 11, 2001? That's the only thing missing. The communities are particularly concerned about the serious nature of allegations contained to a CIA memorandum found within the files of the FBI San Diego field office. That memorandum, which discusses alleged financial transactions between the September 11 hijackers, Saudi government officials, and members of the Saudi royal family, were drafted by CIA officer blank, relying primarily on information from FBI files. What's also in Operation Encore was that they found out the CIA was bugging, or they had a mole inside the FBI San Diego field office, feeding them information. CIA also had a file on Omar al-Bayoumi that went back to the mid-90s. I found that out through the Canestraro document, which is remarkable. How the hell did the CIA know about Omar al-Bayoumi in the mid-90s? In their testimony before the Joint Inquiry, neither the CIA nor the FBI were able to definitively identify for these communities the extent of Saudi support for terrorist activity globally or within the United States, and the extent to which which such support, if it exists, is unintentional or innocent in nature. Well, the CIA knew Khalid al-Mihdhar and Nawaf al-Hazmi were al-Qaeda, that they met the alleged mastermind of the Cole bombing, uh, Tawfiq bin Attash, also known as Khalid, at a high-level al-Qaeda summit meeting because Malaysian authorities told the CIA about this, but the NSA were the ones who heard the phone call between Saudi officials, Saudi delegates at the King Fahd Mosque, and a person on the other end of Malaysia telling them that they were coming to the United States in December of 1999. When did they arrive in the United States? January 15th. See, I knew they were going to this meeting because the NSA told them. So you had two agencies at least knowing that Khalid al-Mihdhar and Nawaf al-Hazmi, both al-Qaeda, were coming to the United States. They didn't tell the FBI. Prior to September 11th, the FBI apparently did not focus investigative redaction Saudi nationals in the United States due to Saudi Arabia's status as an American ally. All this is redacted. A representative of the FBI's redacted testify in closed hearings that prior to September 11th, the FBI received no reporting from any member of the intelligence community that there is a blank presence in the United States. That's right. The FBI is not lying here because the CIA and the NSA didn't tell the FBI, excuse me, that Khalid al-Mihdhar and Nawaf al-Hazmi were coming from a high-level meeting in Malaysia between al-Qaeda hierarchy and coming to the United States with dual U.S. visas. They didn't tell anybody this, not the State Department or the Department of Justice. And that's because now we found out that the CIA was running an illegal covert operation, a monitoring operation of both al-Mihdhar and al-Hazmi inside the United States, while the Saudi government, through their intermediaries of the people I named, were providing them with financial logistical support. So it doesn't matter. The CIA didn't want to be held accountable for running an illegal operation. Now, think about specifics. Did they know they were going to come here to hijack planes and crash them intentionally? I can't go that far because I don't have the information that would back up that claim. It should be clear. The Joint Inquiry has made no final determination as to the reliability or sufficiency of the information regarding these issues that were found contained in FBI and CIA documents. Documents meaning classified or unclassified? Both, maybe? Well, I mean, the reliability information is coming from direct sources. Did the 9/11 Commission not understand that? Or were they covering the CIA here? The joint inquiry as well. This is the joint inquiry. Makes you wonder. I mean, I did a whole podcast on this about Carl Levin, who was a panelist at the joint inquiry, and who questioned very thoroughly the director of Central Intelligence, George Tenet, the director of the Counterterrorism Center, Cobra Black, and the deputy director of the Bin Laden Issue Station, codename Alex Station, Tom Wilshire, who's hiding behind a panel. All gave various answers, all gave different answers from each other about what the FBI knows, didn't know, what the CIA knew, what they didn't know, what they didn't allow to be sent to the FBI. On the one hand, it is possible that these kinds of connections could suggest, as indicated in a redaction dated July 2nd, 2002, incontrovertible evidence that there is support for these terrorists within the Saudi government. Because there was. Saudi government is led by a religion called Wahhabism. Wahhabism is a radical, ultra puritanical form from the Sunni branch that is rejected by 98% of the Muslim community, based on the tenets of Ibn Abd al-Wahhab. I just did a great interview with Cole Bunzel regarding the book Wahhabism, the most comprehensive book in the United States or anywhere in the world for that matter on the religion and how it started. You would think that members of the Saudi government were funding these hijackers, knowing full well that the United States would take advantage, benefit from the attacks, and start wars in the Middle East that ironically would be religious enemies or adversaries to the Saudi kingdom, like Iraq, Syria, Iran, which hasn't started yet. On the other hand, it is also possible that further investigation of these allegations could reveal legitimate and innocent explanations for these associations. Given the serious national security implications of this information, however, the leadership of the joint inquiry is referring to staff's compilation of no event information to both the FBI and CIA for investigative review and appropriate investigative and intelligence activity. Well, I mean, look, the joint inquiry, the 9/11 Commission were taking orders from who? Excuse me. The State Department, the Bush administration. The Bush administration is covering for the Saudi government because they're considered a strong ally. They buy more weapons from us than anybody else in the world. We regulate the oil market to an extent. We buy from the barrel, a gallon. So, in that regards, and never, forget about the wars. But in that regards, that's enough for them, the State Department, to say, "Hey, let's not allow for these congressional inquiries to see everything, but also not to be cause for concern about what the FBI didn't know or what the CIA knew and didn't share." And that goes doubly for the NSA, who have more information than both those agencies. And you wonder what kind of information they had in regards to specifics because they were listening to bin Laden's satellite phones in the mid 90s for 6 years prior to 9/11. And of course, the Al Qaeda communications hub in Sana'a, Yemen, 5 years prior to 9/11. And that's a lot of data, a lot of phone calls. Wonder what was talked about. Well, anyway, that's the end of this chapter. And see you in the next chapter of the 28 pages chapter reading. Have a good day, everybody. Take care and be safe.